Hey Hallie, I'm starting to infiltrate your day. It is 12:41 a.m. on Saturday morning. I got off work not too long ago, and time is a human construct. I haven't showered since Tuesday, if that gives you any idea of how my week has been going. But I have some thoughts. I mean, the two-party system is it's not ideal. It's written into the way our elections work, and it's written into the way our states are woven together. I do think political parties are very useful. It's nice to have a kind of a way to organize beliefs about certain issues and to have a structure for debate. But when there's only two of them and they become so polarized that people look at them as good versus evil, they stop working, they stop being useful. And that is when you typically see a major change in the party system. It's happened a handful of times in the history of the United States, and that's why I'm kind of cautiously optimistic about this time in our history. Society's priorities change. Seemingly fringe minority opinions become the norm sometimes, to the point where it doesn't make sense for an entire political party to define itself in opposition to those beliefs, like the abolition of slavery or the legalization of same-sex marriage. And like Lewis was saying in his video responding to yours, we have all of these beliefs that don't really have a lot to do with each other, hanging together in one party. And then you have people whose most passionate beliefs are about the precedence of state government over federal government in the same party as people whose strongest beliefs are about abortion. It just doesn't really make sense for them to be holding hands, but they kind of have to. I consider myself an independent. Social issues are the most important to me, but I recognize that there are a lot of gray areas and also a lot of areas that I'm very ignorant about and I don't have an informed opinion on yet. I like to think that I look very carefully at all the options before I vote, but I find it hard to cast my ballot for some people who are so okay with beliefs that I find so deeply upsetting. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I'm planning to vote for a Republican for Senate, but in doing so, I feel like I am voting against so many issues that are really important to me because I'm putting kind of a priority on a couple of issues that are the most important to me right now. I'm voting against a woman who shares my beliefs almost to the T in order to vote for a Republican who I disagree with on so many issues, but who has been one of the few people in the GOP to reach out to try and figure out a solution to the whole gun control debate. I like it. I want more of that, so I'm voting for that. I'm voting against someone who I agree with completely in order to vote for someone who I disagree with but is willing to talk about it. Because whenever I hear anyone from either party lump everyone on the other side together and call them ugly names, I just want to take my eardrums out with a power drill. I don't want people in office who are necessarily going to agree with me on every issue. I want people in office who are going to play nice and do the work. That's really what I'm asking for now. There's so much more common ground between the two parties than we ever really talk about. Like, when you actually get down to the nitty-gritties of policy talk, there's a lot to work with there. The issues that take precedence in the national dialogue, the ones that are the most important to American voters right now, are these super polarizing, seemingly moral issues of right and wrong that are going to drive people apart and that are going to make the other side seem evil. But I'm hopeful. We are at the end of one party system and beginning something very new and a little terrifying now. But maybe when all this wreckage clears, we will have a new system with new priorities, and we can shift the conversation away from these polarizing issues into something a little bit less sexy but more productive. Okay, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to bed. I wanted to say before I go, I'm really proud of us for making these videos. I've been really loving having this little conversation with you, and even if it's not like a conversation, just checking in with you is just it's been lovely. Real lovely.